Folks, sorry for the interruption. My camera died on me. Which sucks. Um, I could really use a lot of help, but I don't got it, so what can you say? What can you say? Special Counselor Robert Mueller's Russia probe heats up. This is from CNBC.com. Written by Jacob Pramuk at Jacob Pramuk. Thursday, 3rd of August 2017. Still waiting on this video to load. I'm sorry, guys. Hell, I just read it to you. Robert Mueller, the special investigation. Messed up.
The people of Appalachia America and worldwide. Hill in the Matrix World War. Alex Morgan, Freedom Internet Radio. The Patriot
is on the wheels of Washington to roll along.
That's right. Loyola Marymount science professor joins us now. Morning. So a lot of talk now about the leak, stopping the leak, or how journalists were involved in some of the success be to actually stop leaks.
You know, the journalists aren't the problem. It's the White House. It's chaos, the agendas, leak in existence forever. This is a little bit by these leaks. The president of Mexico and the conversation with the Australia is problematic. The purpose of the leaks was to show that lies, exaggerate. We have plenty of that. We didn't need these. I mean, I think a leak is something government has been kept from people, and the ramifications is that foreign leaders are now going to be a little bit hesitant about what they say to our president. I mean, this one, but in the future. So this is a dramatic.
Now, national security investor is the latest Trump. He'll be looking for a new. I mean, we've seen recently.
Yeah, the attorney sessions, Mario Tillerson, like games of the next cure in this White House. And the problem, people that are on cut are different. They won't be.
I complain. President vacation. President Obama on vacation. He's off, but it's being working vacation. 2 weeks. I really care how much time he's off.
You don't. I mean, this is a 7 job. Are never and even understand the vocabulary of what he even say. Never on vacation. They get a briefing, no matter. They make decisions that has of importance. Is never on vacation. President alone, in a sense that he can be with. Stop vacations. Sworn in and leave on the job 20. That's the way we should take out vacation part of our vernacular.
As a political professor, I know that you study national politics. You also specifically focus on Los Angeles.
Yeah.
I want to take a turn real quickly. We know that in 2028, the city of Los Angeles is now almost set to host the Olympic Games. There's a few formalities to get through. Do you think Angelenos support hosting the games again? I know you hear a lot of people say, oh, the traffic, we're not ready for this. On a whole, what do you think, Professor?
Oh, it's not what I think. It's what Angelenos think. At Loyola Marymount University, we have conducted several surveys. One just last a couple of weeks ago. Angelenos, what do they think about hosting the Olympics again, specifically in 2028? 83% of Angelenos want the Olympics. Those who and strongly are in the single. So of course they will some because we say, hey, who's the opposition? Very few Angelenos are opposed to the games. They understand that the games are fantastic for the city. Of course, concerned about traffic, and Angelenos overwhelmingly, according to our poll last year, to a poll that International Committee polls overwhelming support by Angelenos.
In 2020, it's been 11 years.
Right. The official decision made in September looks like it's all.
It's going to happen in a
Yeah.
More private folks. Pushed by the left. Back to this special counselor Mueller. Mueller is overseeing the rest and panel in Washington. The Journal move.
Andrew, yesterday that
Like she closed my eyes and let's.
It's heating up. Is the Wall Street Journal yesterday that's counsel Mueller's impaneling grand jury. This is a tool that would allow to subpoena documents and in which Andrew ended up is that reporting yesterday that Special Bob Mueller is impaneling a grand jury. This is would allow to subpoena documents and also see testimony on if they're interest in the Russia investigation. It's a move that affords Mueller and his team a more powerful tool to gather information. Is a sign potentially intensifying in scope. As Ty Cobb, the president's special counsel for matters involving this investigation, said he wasn't aware of this. Said, quote, grand matters are typically favors anything that accelerates the conclusion. The White House potentially in scope time. President's counsel for matters in this investigation said aware of this and said matters are typically the one that accelerates the conclusion of his work fairly. The White House is committed to fully cooperating with Mueller, but political States governor of the Republican Party last night, President Trump invoked the investigation often calling it fake, a fabrication, and made up bats who have no message.
Most people, there were no Russian. There never were. We didn't win because of Russia. We won because of
That's the rally watch a little bit earlier.
I can tell you.
The president also need for tax reform. Congress to vote again on the need for infrastructure. Happened to speak today to unveil new trade actions against China when news broke early. Media country would have no choice but to retaliate. President's speech is now postponed, sources close to the event tell CNBC, with no new date set. As the president begins today, what the White House says will be a working vacation while the West Wing undergoes 2 renovations to fix outdated HVAC systems, carpet, and furniture. So that working vacation, Andrew, will go from today until August 20th.
Yeah, we won't read that from the Wall Street Journal. read this one from The Hill. Mueller investigation enters new phase by Morgan Chalfant and Jonathan
Special Counsel
Easley.
Robert Mueller's federal investigation into possible coordination between President Trump's campaign and Russia has advanced into a new phase with the impaneling of a grand jury. The development signals the potential for opponents and allies of the president to be entrenched in a years-long legal battle over the investigation into Russian meddling, which has dogged Trump throughout his first months in office. Mueller appears to be casting a wide net in the probe, with some media reports indicating that he is scrutinizing financial ties between Trump, his business associates, and Moscow. Trump's lawyers insist they'll fight to keep the scope of the investigation narrowly focused on the Russian election meddling. The president himself warned last month that looking into his financials would amount to crossing a red line, which sparked a broad suspicion that he might move to fire Mueller if evidence showed he were wandering too far. To move to impanel a grand jury, legal experts say, signifies Mueller's confidence that he has found enough evidence of criminal activity into Russian meddling, which has dogged Trump throughout his first months in office. Mueller appears to be casting a wide net in the probe, with some media reports indicating that he is scrutinizing financial ties between Trump, his business associates, and Moscow. Trump's lawyers insist they'll fight to keep the scope of the investigation narrowly focused on the Russian election meddling. The president himself warned last month that looking into his financials would amount to crossing a red line, which sparked a broad suspicion that he might move to fire Mueller if evidence showed he were wandering too far. To move to impanel a grand jury, legal experts say, signifies Mueller's confidence that he has found enough evidence of criminal activity to begin a legal process, and that the investigation will extend beyond Trump's fired National Security Advisor Michael Flynn.
There you have it, folks. He must have think that he's found enough to prosecute Trump on something, you know. Which I'm sure that they could manufacture any type of evidence. Bobby sticks it to Trump. From the New York Times, Washington, as we contemplate crime and punishment in the Trump circle, it should be noted that our Russian besotted president does share some traits with Dostoevsky's spiraling protagonist Rodion Raskolnikov. Both men are naifs who arrive and think they are the right to transgress. Both are endlessly physiological studies, self-regarding with Napoleon-style grandiosity, and self-incriminating. Both are consumed with chaotic, feverish thoughts as they are pursued by a relentless, suspicious lawman. But it is highly doubtful that Melania will persuade Donald to confess to all Special Counselor Robert Mueller III and slink off to Siberia. We are in for an epic clash between two Septuagenarians who both came from wealthy New York families and attended Ivy League schools but couldn't be more different. The flamboyant flim-flam man and the buttoned-down, buttoned-up Boy Scout. And we know the president has no idea how to talk to scouts appropriately. One has been called America's straightest arrow. One disdains self-promotion and avoids the press. One married his sweetheart from school days. One decorated Marine in Vietnam. One counts patience, humility, and honesty as the virtues he lives by and likes to say, quote, "You're only as good as your word," end quote. And one's president. Trump biographer Michael D'Antonio says the president has been lying reflexively since he was bragging about home runs he didn't hit. He gets warped satisfaction from making up stuff. Like those calls from the head of the Boy Scouts and the President of Mexico that the White House just admitted never happened. So folks, this ain't nothing but propaganda. But back when he was a page 6 playboy, Trump even invented 2 PR guys to play on the phone with reporters so he could boast about himself 3 times as much, including facetious claims of dating Carla Bruni and being hit on by Madonna. He is never deterred by the fact that he can be easily caught. But considering he survived the quote Access Hollywood unquote video, it's no wonder he has a distorted sense of what is an existential threat. Going hammer and tongue after hammer and sickle, Mueller has crossed Trump's red line using multiple grand juries and issuing subpoenas in a comprehensive inquiry covering only possible campaign collusion but also business dealings by Trump and his associates with Russia. The Times reported Friday that Mueller's investigators had asked the White House for documents related to Michael Flynn. A White House advisor told me recently about how scary Mueller's dream team is and how Jared Kushner should be nervous. Every time Mueller adds a legal celebrity to his crew, the music gets cued for a quote Ocean's 11 unquote or quote Dirty Dozen unquote array of talent. One lawyer helped destroy the New York City Mafia, another helped bring down Nixon, Enron. Others are experts on foreign bribery and witness flipping. A GQ's Jay Willis wrote, quote, "If these people were coming for you over a parking ticket, you'd be thinking about liquidating your life savings," unquote. Even before his panning audience ripper of a report came out, Ken Starr was getting dismissed as a partisan jabert. He still Risible warning Mueller on CNN Friday, quote, "We don't want investigators and prosecutors out on a fishing expedition," unquote. "You know you're in trouble when Mr. Rod and Reel warns you about going fishing." Mueller is taken serious as Mr. Clean Marine, a Republican willing to stand on principle even against other Republicans, as when he and James Comey resisted and warrantless wiretapping. Mueller is seen as incorruptible, so his conclusions will most likely be seen as unimpeachable. Let me tell you something. They're sitting here talking the same SOB that sat and covered up the 9/11 BS, all of Hillary's illegal doings what time that she was in office. He done all that. He covered it up. He's not no Republican. He's a damn Democrat. Wake up, people. Trump does not yet seem to fathom that Mueller is empowered in a way no one else is to look at the sorts of these things. This is some tip a casino can publicly berate opposing counsel and draw him into a public spat. Mueller won't take the bait. At a boisterous West Virginia rally Thursday night, Trump was back in fury campaign mode, mocking the idea that he was the Siberian candidate. Quote, "Are there any Russians here tonight?" unquote. He said, quote, "Any Russians?" unquote. "All I can say is hurry up, Bobby, 3 sticks." Mueller got the moniker from FBI agents because of the 3 Roman numerals at the end of his name. There may be no more bizarre Byzantine mystery in the history of American politics than the Trump's insistence on dancing with the Red Devil in the pale moonlight, even for the most unlinear, illogical, uninformed president is flummoxing. When I talked to Trump about the Russians in 1987, when Mikhail Gorbachev made his first visit to the Soviet leader to America and invited businessmen to meet with him in New York, Trump seemed normal, saying he was willing to listen but was suspicious and we should not be overly eager to make a deal. But something happened to give him a blame America first attitude when it come to the Russians. How transcendently strange the new president's own party has to have the Democrats box him in both on sanctions and the Russians on a measure preventing him from firing Mueller. On Thursday, the president tweets that it was Congress's fault that, quote, "our leadership with Russia is at an all-time very dangerous low," unquote. So he was blaming lawmakers who punished Russia for a cyber attack on our election rather than blaming Russia for sticking a saber in the heart of our democracy. Hustle, Bobby, 3 sticks. Folks, do you see the arrogance, the hypocrisy, the outrage in this stupid propaganda? Oh my God. Yeah, here's another one for you. Axios.com Trump's dangerous low support among his base. Yeah. Just like he had a low support base during the election, just like Hillary was 40 points back, in front of him. Yeah, just like that. Yeah. Do you see what is going on here? The mainstream media is nothing but a bunch of liberal, lie-pushing propagandists. That's all they are. Paid propagandists. Low support among his base. Strongly favors 35%. Strongly unfavored 46%. This is a lie. This is all a lie. Axios.com. If you want to check out that article. I'm not going to read it because it's full of it. Oh God, here's an article from the Sun. North Korea threatens to end U.S. Has he enough, you know? Mission Kim Possible. North Korea, quote, in the U.S., unquote, as UK warns Kim Jong-un's nuclear provocations could be, quote, catastrophic. Kim Jong-un's media slammed America's recent decision to fly two supersonic bombers over Korean Peninsula.
운동운동기 직접적인 지도 밑에 저체 백력 2017년 7월 28일 밤 탄도로켓 화성 14형 2차 시험 발사가 성공적으로 진행됐습니다. 경미한 최고령조자 동지께서는 이번 시험 발사를 통하여 대륙간 탄도로켓 체계의 믿음성이 재확증되고 임의의 지역과 장터에서 임의의 시간에 대륙간 탄도로켓을 기습 발사할 수 있는 능력이 과시되었으며 이 본토
State-controlled media slams America's recent decision to fly supersonic bombers over the Korean Peninsula. Kim Jong-un celebrates with his generals after the latest Hwasong-14 missile test. As you can see here. Let's read this thing. State-run media released this image of the deadly long-range rocket taking off. The B-1 bombers were escorted by South Korean fighter jets as they performed a low pass over an air base near the South Korean capital of Seoul last month. But Ung's media brand the move a, quote, hysteric fit, unquote, and warned against such, quote, provocations, unquote. North Korea's KCNA news agency ranted, quote, the day the DPRK is provoked means the end of the U.S., quote. Earlier this week, the government-run newspaper Rodong Sinmun declared Donald Trump was sitting on the, quote, knife edge of life and death, unquote, and that he should brace himself for, quote, gift packages, quote, from Kim. Unquote from Kim, I'm sorry. An editorial said, quote, every minute and every second, the new reality that U.S. mainland is on the knife's edge of life and death is forcing U.S. administration to wave a white flag and fundamentally change their North Korean policy. Quote, if the U.S. still refuses to accept such a realistic demand and doggedly pursue hostile policy against North Korea in order to save face, she will receive unexpected gift packages which will continue to send, unquote. It is believed the so-called, quote, gift packages, unquote, are nuclear missiles. Quote, by acting in flagrant violence of its legal obligations by going the will of the Security Council expressed in countless resolutions, North Korea has chosen the path it now finds itself on. Quote, it's a path that a minimum will lead to further suffering for its own people and at most could prove to be catastrophic for the whole world. Quote, it does not have to be this way. North Korea could forego the path of provocation, forego the path of further escalation. At a meeting in New York, the Security Council unanimously approved new sanctions, including banning exports worth $1 billion. The resolution also banned countries from giving any additional permits to North Korean workers, a crucial source of foreign currency for the regime, but a situation labeled a form of modern slavery by Rackroff. The sanctions follow North Korea's first successful test of ICBMs capable of reaching the United States last month.
Broadcasting on Freedom Internet Radio is paid for by viewers like you. Without your support, we couldn't exist. Freedom isn't free, that's why it's so important to support this broadcast and others like it. The mainstream media committed political suicide over the past 24 months. Let's bankrupt the vomit brokers and support free market capitalism. Remember, we don't push socialism. We support freedom and liberty worldwide.
If you would like to donate to the show, to the channel, to me and my work, you can go to GoFundMe.com/AlexMorganShow. If you would rather send it directly through PayPal.me, it's PayPal.me/AMorgan83. Yeah, that's it. If you'd like to email me, you can email me Alex@AlexMorganShow.com, contact@AlexMorganShow.com, the AlexMorganShow@gmail.com. alexmorgan9183@gmail.com. And folks, don't forget to check out the new website, alexmorgan.com. I appreciate everything that everybody does for me. Let's get into Debbie Wasserman Schultz now before we end our broadcast. Debbie Wasserman Schultz pathetic, quote, right thing, unquote, defense. Only someone as brazenly arrogant as Representative Debbie Wasserman Schultz could claim her own irresponsible behavior as a civic virtue. The former Democratic Party chair insists she, quote, did the right thing on not firing an IT aide because after being warned he was under criminal investigation, quote, and I would do it again, unquote. Not only did she stand with Imran Alwan, she tried to stonewall Capitol Hill investigators and even threatened them with, quote, consequences, unquote, if they didn't back off. Alwan is now charged with bankruptcy. That's the least of the story, which she chalks up the entirety to anti-Muslim bias. Just arranged a fraudulent credit union loan that was then wrapped in a $283,000 transfer to Pakistan just weeks after he learned he was under investigation for stolen computer equipment. Alwan had worked for dozens of top Democrats since 2004, starting with Queens' own Representative Gregory Meeks in February. They all fired him after learning he was suspected of secretly accessing members' computers and transferring files to the remote servers. But Wasserman Schultz, that is, she kept him on the payroll even after smashed hard drives were found at his homes, and the Alwan's wife, also on payroll with 4 other relatives, fled the country with 3 young daughters whom she suddenly pulled out of school. Court documents also accused the Alwan family cabal of bankruptcy fraud, life insurance fraud, tax fraud, and extortion. And they likely had access to the accounts of the members of the House Intelligence and Foreign Affairs Committee. And so, to classified information, Alwan himself was arrested while trying to leave for Pakistan via Qatar. But Wasserman Schultz still poo-poos any suggestion he was trying to flee the country. It's bad enough that she's willingly turned a blind eye to a potential national security scandal. She shouldn't pretend she did so to protect the Constitution, unquote. Folks, there's corruption everywhere in our government. It's not hard to see either. And all this propaganda that they push on us every day, it's not hard to see. We can overcome this. We can work together. We can move mountains together. Okay, folks? Please just share my links. Tell your friends about the show. Tell them to go to alexmorganshow.com and check me out. I'm gonna keep trying to get this other platform, this Blog Talk Radio, working pretty good. And I'm gonna keep working on the site and maybe add another one or two to the mix. But thank y'all for watching the show, listening. Thanks for all that y'all do. Again, if y'all want to email me, just send an email to alex@alexmorganshow.com or contact@alexmorganshow.com. Follow me on social media. Go to the side links, folks. I love y'all. I'll be praying for you. Pray for me. God bless. I love you. Have a good weekend. And remember to keep the Sabbath. See y'all next time, folks.